All right. So now that I've got it going on DevNet, um, I'm actually going to think I'm going to go ahead and publish this, try to deploy it. I haven't done much with this. I've only done it once with the starter template. But because Rich Harris, the founder of Svelte, the lead, the guy for Svelte, he works for Vercel. And so I decided to use them originally, and it was pretty easy. So let's see if I can remember what exactly to do. Because right now it's on DevNet, Solana's DevNet, but I'm still I'm still using kind of the local npm run dev, which has some issues with my project's CRM package. And again, it's kind of a Vite config thing that I still have not fully fleshed out. But I don't know. It's tended to behave better after running the npm run build. So yeah, so the steps for all of this would be my tests are running just fine. So what I need to do now is take my app, if I cd into the app directory, which is my SvelteKit app. Let me see, what am I? Yeah, I've been messing around. Let me go ahead and, yeah, so you can see like all these different attempts for dev dependencies. I've read quite a lot using rollup, plugin inject, Vite compatible readable stream. Some of them aren't compatible quite yet with Vite 4.0, so that kind of becomes a little bit of an issue. So let me commit this stuff real fast. Okay. One thing though too that I did learn is that for Vercel, so my app, my front end application is all here in the app directory. Yeah. So it's got my routes, it's got all the SvelteKit related stuff, and it's got its separate package JSON with its own Vite config. When you configure Vercel, and so I've got my, you notice I've been using kind of like my old personal account, but then I've got learned how to set up. That was interesting, setting up multiple GitHub, like separate GitHub accounts from the same computer. That gets into like SSH keys. That was interesting. But yeah, now I'm just have like a separate account for some of the stuff I'm going to be trying to publish. Like that's, kind of fun experimental things. And I've just kind of forked it from my main repo, main account. And what I learned though from this is the Vercel dashboard. First time, like literally just did it a couple days ago for the first time. So when you open this up and you deploy, you have quite a bit of, I had some issues along the way. And one of the things that it needs is like when you first set up, let me see if I can find the settings. Or, if I go to, okay, this is live, which runs really quite well. I was really impressed. I was like, oh, it was not bad. Oh, here it is, the settings. So in the settings for your deployment, you have to specify this thing called a root directory. Okay, and this is the directory within your project in which your code is located. Leave this field empty if your code is not located in a subdirectory. So a new deployment is required for your changes to take effect. I had to set this to my app directory. which is this. It's got all my code for this program. What the problem with that though is I first need to, because this is a mono repo, it has app for the SvelteKit front end, but then the rest is kind of the Solana programs where I have all my different programs with its, REST files and whatnot. Again, thanks to Anchor, whenever we do the build, it will, and part of the Anchor TOML settings, we have where it will build and store a new copy of the IDL. But this is a TypeScript file, it's not JSON. And I've been using that, you've seen me use it. The problem though is that for the actual JSON, whenever you build, it has this target folder with the IDL, and then you have a bunch of JSON files. What I essentially need to do is I need to copy, I need to do a little bit of tweaking. I need to have a copy of this JSON inside of my app directory. So currently I have this lib and then IDL, and I have all the TypeScript files. That's just automatically generated. However, I need to also have the JSON files as well. So I think that's C. Yeah, I'm just gonna copy these one by one. I know it's kind of silly, but paste. Go down because from Vercel, they have to have access to everything inside of the app directory. And so when my wallet connector, so when we're building making the Anchor connection provider component and the wallet store and the workspace store, all that references the IDL, the JSON file. So for example, if I just go to routes, layout, svelte, okay, right in here, it has to have the JSON, not the TypeScript. So in this file, I've had to reference outside. I've had to go up a few levels to access the correct, the JSON. So this is a little bit of a pain because you have to, every time you make program changes and you truly rebuild like something new with your REST files, with your Anchor code, then you have to make sure that you copy over the latest JSON IDL files. I need to look in. I know that there are ways to, and that'd probably be a good exercise for me to just run a simple script that can just do that simple copy of whatever from the target directory into my source lib IDL directory. So you have something like this. So you have to make sure that it stays updated. Otherwise, you're going to be, you'll forget, which I need to automate this because I will forget soon enough. But this is important for deploying on Vercel because it needs to have full access. Like your program cannot access files and stuff that are outside of this app directory, which for Vercel's purposes is this root directory. Now, if you were just doing if you just only had a typical, create a new SvelteKit app, and that's your main kind of root directory, then you don't have to worry about this in terms of for Vercel because it would already be at the root. But this is something I did learn. So what that means is that I now need to change this from, I'm just going to I'll go ahead and change it. So now this needs to go to the lib IDL, and I need to find, for this is the Solana anchor, man, what is it? Is it under? It is all underscore. Solana anchor SvelteKit skeleton starter.json, something like that. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it doesn't complain, so that's the right. Because this is my main route. So when you hit, I don't have anything running, but like when you hit the main page, the default program right now is just set to the starter program, which is not much to it. I think it's my old PDA's program from, you can check out the actual template that I've got, the other repo that I'm kind of maintaining to help out. So that is that one. Now I do need to, every time I swap a route, if I go to a different program like Ledger or voting or escrow programs, these are separate Solana programs, I also need to point to the right JSON IDL. So let's do that. So I think I just don't think I'll have it anywhere else. If I start with the basics doesn't, that's part of the starter. Escrow has its own layout, Svelte, yeah. And so here we're just updating the lib IDL, and then this one just should be escrow.json. Okay, and just one at a time. So then Ledger, let's do this one rather than accessing it outside of the app. Let's just do again lib IDL Ledger. Yeah. Oops. And then wrong one. Voting. That's a different app I've done. I may do like a shorter recap on that one. That was a cool project. It's actually not even finished fully. I mean, it's functionality wise, it's pretty much set. But yeah, that was interesting. Let's do. Okay, so that is like step one. You have to make sure that when you're using Vercel, you'll have to have access to the right, everything inside there. Then what I did after that, let's see, so back to Ledger. I think we're okay. I think from here, on this page, yeah, I can just do it from here. So let's just, this is the first real step, is after you have what you think is good to go, you run npm run build. But what this does is actually, it's just a Vite build command. So you can run it this way, which is already in our scripts, or you can do like npx Vite build force. There's things with that if you don't. But npm, let's try it, run build. And this is the first time I've done this with this repo with all these programs. So it very well could blow up. And I need to learn more about this space, because I don't get it. The different targets and whatnot, it just gets a little tricky. So, could not detect supported production environment. Yeah, so this is, I got this using their Svelte adapter auto. So SvelteKit has some adapters when you know you're deploying to a particular platform. I have learned that this adapter auto actually tends to handle like all the cases for my needs, even the Vercel. They have a separate Vercel adapter, but I think that's if you need to get more into the weeds with Vercel. But I didn't need to the first time around. So if you look at like how they, and I need to look at this. So now there's this new folder called, if I look at my directory now, I have this SvelteKit, and now I have this .SvelteKit. I think was always there, maybe. Maybe not. But as soon as you do this, I think it was actually, but I think what this is, my IDE is helping me out. I think the generated and output directories are new. So there's this generated, there's a bunch of stuff like client optimized, node, server. I have not honestly looked into this enough. Something I need to learn more about. And then there's this output, client, app, and then server, nodes. Yeah, like this stuff is, this is all new to me. So I think for my sake and purposes, I believe that when you have all of this output, there's this product, like all these different chunks, like server chunks, entries, fallback entries. I'm not even sure if it's like my so I mean, there's a lot happening thanks to the super smart people that handle all this stuff. But you can see references to my program. So what's encouraging about this is I think for most of it, it looks like it worked. I didn't get like some crazy could not build error. So that's cool. There are some warnings. So like this big chunk, like what the heck is this? Wallet adapter, drop down list item, transforming node modules, skeleton labs. Wait. And this may be part of like I've just left some lingering like imports in my code that need to be refactored. But let's say everything looks okay and they're like, all right, now you can run npm run preview to preview a production build. All right, so let's do that. So I'll do npm run preview. Let's get lucky. And yeah, we have a whole new, now you see the local host is actually on port 4173. So if I go over here, 4173, hit enter, let's see how this behaves. You know, and what's kind of neat, I don't know, so far, like it's running and I'm not getting that weird Project Serum node modules like not found thing, but it would still work kind of. So I'm gonna hit connect. I don't want to use, let me close this one down. Let me do let's do this one. This is my dev, this is my Soulflare. Should be able to select Soulflare. I know it's not the best font. Yeah, extension. Okay, let's trust this app. Why not? Hit connect. Yeah, and it works. So the cool thing about this is that we have everything, like I'm really not getting any errors on this one. And it has, you know, it's not blowing up on me. So let's see, I'm at the basics. If again, I'm on DevNet, so I'm not sure if the airdrop will work, but I just clicked it. And Okay, not bad. Click View and Explore. Yeah. So there's something about, so if I click on, say, Ledger, now this is, watch all the logs. Let's see. It just did a page load. Not bad. And it shows my first Solflare ledger. And when I just did the deploy to DevNet and I tried to run this with like my local build, like my npm run dev, the dev server, I created a ledger and then nothing was, it didn't display. I had to like refresh. But because I'm on DevNet, if I open up my wallet, I think, yeah, I thought oh yeah, I still have 100, see, I still have 100 tokens because even though I created a ledger, I actually have not created any sort of entry. So let's just do like a simple 10. And I do first, and we hit create entry. And what is happening? Okay, a little bit of a lag, -10, but the transaction details are showing. So that's encouraging. Yeah, entry successfully created, view and explore, and then, yeah, there's a little bit of just a slight little delay, but it's triggering. We can see in the console log, it's still running, because I'm having to do, it's one thing I'm not 100% sure about with my approach is that I'm having to use, I love SvelteKit's data prop and the data loading. Obviously, if you've been following along, like we've learned, at least I have, hopefully you've learned a little bit of what it can do. So being able to just kind of use that as my main for my UI state and just kind of falling back to that, whatever, and using these page loads or server loads has been really helpful rather than having to maintain stores. Although I love stores, they're super powerful, but it just did that and that worked. So that's super cool. I'm going to see if I can modify. If I hit cancel, entry modification canceled, cool. I mean, this is the first time I've done this stuff with this deployment. So I'll do first updated, hit submit. I have to sign a transaction, all from the client. There's a little bit of a fee involved. Boom. And yeah, I updated, popped up in it, and it does the whole invalidate. Using the invalidate to rerun my load functions. So I get fresh update on the data. Not bad. Let's try if I could do another Solflare 2. This one did not work on the dev server after deploying. Invalid arguments, token mint not provided. Okay. So this is something that needs to be addressed. This kind of gets into the persisting of an SPL token. And that's why I wanted to finally make this deployment to DevNet, because I really want to address this. I don't want this setup. I need to be able to remove this whole need for the setup and have some kind of default persistent token. So that's going to be my next stretch, I believe, is figuring that out. So I'm not going to do setup actually with this one. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to change wallets. And this time I'm going to select my Phantom wallet. Here's a password. Okay. Okay, cool. May need to have like reset this form, but let's do. Okay. Showing that I have like 6.8 Sol. I don't know if I need that much. So yeah, so Phantom has changed some stuff. it's got this nice new little UI. One of the things though that I saw or noticed that in the developer settings, it no longer had localhost. It no longer had localhost as an issue, so that's kind of a pain, but not for today. DevNet was worked because that's what we're kind of moving to anyway, so sure, sounds good. Now it's in DevNet, I think. I may need to maybe disconnect. I don't want testnet mode, I want DevNet. Yeah. Applies to balances and app testnet mode. Not sure what that is. Okay. But I'm not on testnet. I wonder if that will cause any issues. Alright, so we'll see. So I'll connect Phantom. And you know what, actually, I'm gonna see if I do copy this account. If I come back over to let's do let's get out of here and let me do another, just open up a new terminal. So if I come in here and I do Solana balance, okay, all right, so that's good. That represents, like, I'm seeing the same number in here, so I just want to make sure that all is well. But let's go back to, so you can see, so we can all see what happens with our preview in the server. So if I come, I have money, so I can just go straight to ledger. Great. I'm not seeing other ledgers. That's helpful. However, I still need to do the whole setup by creating, a new mint and associated token accounts and whatnot. So I'm getting that transaction approval. I have another one popping up on a different screen. It's deducting a little bit of SOL, and I should be getting one more to approve. Yeah. And now here it is. This one I'm minting the supply and receiving 100 of these tokens. So now that is good, I can just call this one Phantom 1. And I'm curious, if I go through this one, will my load re-trigger after I hit approve? Yeah, nice. So look, it popped up, everything was successful and behaved as expected. So I think there was something going on with my DevNet, with my local, my dev server. Like I said, there's a little bit of some Vite and Node module issues that I need to sort out. Next, I'd like to, now that this is working, I'd like to continue with the deployment to Vercel. So rather than running just on the preview, the npm run preview, let's see if we can get this to go ahead and deploy on Vercel, which, again, back at Vercel, I don't have like a paid account with this at this point, but let me see. If I go to, it was really quite easy, and they have some starter templates and stuff. Seems pretty neat, pretty easy. So let's see if I can do a project. Let's see if I can do daddy, and this name is just it's a play on words, Super Milk Daddy. It's a play on words in Chinese. So you see, try to add Super Milk Daddy .xyz. It doesn't look like it's popping up. So let me see what I can do. Okay, it was just a matter of some settings in GitHub giving Vercel access to more repos. So if I do, let's start with this one. Go to import. Framework preset. I don't know if I really need to do this, but I don't think it'll hurt. And then this is handy, yeah. So look, this is cool. So yeah, it kind of shows like, all right, where do I need to look for the root? So here it is, the app directory, and this is why moving all the code that we need to make this front-end app work needs to be inside of this app directory. So copying over our IDL JSON files is needed. So install command, output directory. Like there's quite a lot of options here. I honestly don't have anything else to do. So let's see. We have built. We've previewed it out. We've tested it out. So let's see. What's nice about Vercel, and probably like many of these other platforms, is that it will kind of do this continuous integration, where it's basically anytime you kind of commit code changes to your repo, then it will kind of automatically redeploy. So it'll run through your build command, and what's nice is you can open this up and see, well, the issues that you encounter up to this point. So this is, so this is some complaints, and yeah, so it didn't work, and that's because right here, could not resolve, and you can kind of tell already I'm accessing outside of my app. So it can't, it tells you when you're configuring the settings about the root directory or the root of the app, where is the root folder. It'll tell you, like, if you change that, then it does not have access to higher, levels up. So this is in the JSON route. Huh. I thought I had changed this already. Maybe what I probably didn't do is, even though I changed it back in here, I may have forgotten to actually push my changes. So IDL, yeah, I bet that's what it is. So if I go here, let's just do terminal def. Yeah, I just need to push these changes real fast. All right, so I've got these pushed, and I've got my main repo. The main repo as a fork. So if did it not? Oh, I didn't actually finish the project, so I have to kind of do this whole import again. Didn't I? It's probably Alright, so let's try this again. Oh, okay, so yeah, I was about to say, I feel like it would probably have a cached version somewhere. I gotcha. Here it is. So I didn't have to do this whole add new, it just didn't refresh for me real quick. So if I click on this, Node production deployment, let's go over here to deployments, project, yeah, so Active branches, yeah. So because it failed on that original build, I need to do this again. So project, SvelteKit, root, app. Everything seems okay. Click back into the project. And this is the original log where it failed on me because I hadn't pushed my changes. So let's do a redeploy. You're about to create a new deployment with the same source code, but with the newest configuration. We should have See, that's not right. So it just pushed changes. I pushed them from my other account. So this branch is 2 commits behind. Okay, that's the issue. Update branch to keep this branch up to date. Syncing 2 commits. Yeah, I thought that it would be, if I forked it over, it would just automatically keep it synchronized. I need to look into that a bit more. Yeah, and let's see. Yeah, so this is Vercel. Once you install it, it's kind of showing, it's running a little bit of this continuous integration little pipeline, which is cool. I don't know, I've done a little bit with GitHub's, there's another term for it, but it's really cool tools, and the fact that Vercel just, integrates smoothly with that is great, because then you can imagine not only when you deploy, but every time you deploy, you also run your test scripts again, just to ensure that all is well. So let's go back to my project on the Vercel side, and let's go back. I don't need the docs. I actually just want to go straight into the deployment. Here it is. Oh, it was already doing it for me. So if I click into this, it's been building for a minute now. Missed out. What's this? Progress bar. Layout. Not quite sure what this red color. Output client. Vite. The manifest. Okay. Ooh. It complains about the chunk size, larger than 500 kilobytes, but most of these are nowhere close, so not sure which one. So installed the adapter auto. Also, no, I didn't think I had the Vercel. Deployed output, build completed. Populating build cache, uploading build cache, 34 megabytes. Wow. Yeah, there's certainly more to do. So perform checks. There's other integrations you could do. Here it is. So it was this last chunk. I'm not sure. Output client immutable chunks index browser.esm. This one is the culprit. That's the one that's really complaining about. And there's some options to consider to improve it. Yeah, but I think it still says building. No, okay, here it is. Yeah, ready. Nice. So deployment, visit. took a minute and a half to deploy. Have a couple little domains. If I click on one of these, here it is. Yeah, cool. So actually I'm going to copy this over and put it over on this side. So now this is live. This is no longer the preview. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to make sure that I have shut that down. Maybe it was in 5. Yeah. So I don't need the preview anymore because we're no longer running this on this side. But check this out. So this is in the preview where we have with the Phantom wallet, I've created a Phantom 1 ledger. Oh yeah, of course I did it. I hovered over the view link and it's trying to do this whole prefetch thing, but I don't have the server. I don't have the Vite server running anymore. But because this is DevNet, if I just close this out, okay, and we go over here, this is the recently developed or deployed from Vercel version. So if I do select wallet, Phantom, here it is. We're connecting to the site. Boom, yeah, and that was fast. It picks up my balance, which is accurate for DevNet. I have should have deployed all of them. So if I click on basics, like so far so good. I'm going to just look at the console. Yeah, it just seems to something about build versus dev with Vite. There's something about with dev, like Vite doesn't do any like bundling, whereas when you build it for production, it will. So there's something there that is behaving better, at least so far. Ledger, here's my program. There's a little bit of an error. What is this? Get app API ledger. Yeah, interesting. What is this one? I wonder if I still have an API route open for that's interesting. But nonetheless, like here we are. I don't know if I do have this unknown token. That's cool. Okay, so Phantom is helping out now. It's showing, at least on DevNet, it does show a little bit of the token details. So this is what I minted, this EPR, and I have 100 of them. I have this particular ledger, Phantom 1. I hit view. Let's do it. Now, let's add, say 12. I have to go first. Create. It's processing some stuff. Now kicks off the sign. Still approving. Seeing the details. It finally loaded. Finally, I mean, it's not too bad. But there it is. Yeah. I clicked on the Explore, and while that's booting up, I'm going to go back. But it did also rerun the invalidate all to rerun my load and refresh my data. So now I have, for this particular ledger, I have this basic, this first entry. And hit modify, hit cancel, modify again, just check in and out. First updated. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. Kicks over to prove the transaction. Get another success toast thanks to Skeleton, making that really easy. And yeah, I feel overall it's pretty responsive. Go back. Here it shows my updated entry count of 1. Yeah. So that's that. I wonder. Let's see. Actually, I haven't opened up my other programs, but I'm curious if I go to voting. It's a completely different program, so it's swapping IDLs. It's swapping, obviously, routes and whatnot, so there's a lot more to it. No complaints there. Obviously, I got to clean up some of these logs. Escrow is a big program. Bunch of my logs and stuff, and yeah, there's some stuff I need to kind of clean up, but a little bit of refactoring, but it's not blowing up on me. So that is that. So the process really is not too difficult, thankfully, and I have to be honest, dealing with the Vite config and node module issues that I'm having when I'm running the dev server more or less seem to go away when performing the build, so this whole output client, the generated, all this stuff seems to perform and behave just a little bit better, which is nice. Super nice. So there was something about ledger. Got the initial error right at the top. It's my one little error is about, the server responded with a 500 status API ledger. Need to check out this get could test this out a little bit, but I have this API endpoint. It's part of my earlier exploration and learning about how this all works. But I've ultimately decided to utilize the layout load, not the server load, but the client, and this fetch is supposed to actually be happening, I guess, because I've left it there, but I'm actually not. I've got the layout load from the server. Can maybe look into that a little bit more, but it doesn't. I lose all the typing and stuff by fetching from the server. So I've kind of opted to just utilize and fetch on-chain program account data using just directly from the client, as we've seen. So I can look into this a little bit more. But in terms of deploying, we have a live public site now officially on Solana's DevNet, and it's persisting, which is great because I can sign out and come back. So now I need to learn how to persist a single token. Where maybe need to kind of think this through, but like when not for when creating a ledger, but somehow giving the option to essentially airdrop more of this custom token supply. So that's that to be continued, but there you go, lots of learning.